What's up, guys? Jay Martin here, investor and CEO of Cambridge House, and my guest today is Jason Chen, the co-founder, president, and CEO of a company called JustKitchen. Now, I've had Jason on the show before, and we talked about his business, JustKitchen, what they're doing, and what they're up to. Now, full disclosure, I am a shareholder of this company, a very happy shareholder of this company, and the reason is because I feel like I have invested in the next generation of restaurant. Let me explain. This is what Uber was to taxis, what Airbnb was to hotels. I believe this is what JustKitchen is to the bricks and mortar restaurant business. Now, I don't just say this lightly. I invested in this company less than a year ago. So less than a year ago, they were a startup with nothing happening. Today, they're serving 10,000 meals per day. Now, I've been pitched on investing in restaurants many times. And in my hometown of Vancouver, Canada, there are many famously successful restaurants, none of which are serving 10,000 meals per day. But through JustKitchen's tech stack and hub and spoke restaurant model, they're scaling like crazy. And I believe they're just getting started. We get into why. They just signed a deal that takes them to one of the most densely populated cities in the world, being Manilla in the Philippines. Lots of exciting stuff. So I obviously love the story, super passionate about it. I never tell investors what to buy, but I'm happy to tell people why I did. And we're gonna do that today. So tell me what you think. Love to know your thoughts in the comments. Here is Jason Chen, the co-founder of JustKitchen. Enjoy. I assemble the smartest people I can think of or reach out to carry that conversation, and that's exactly what I've done today.
Please give my panel a round of applause. Welcome.
All right, what's up, guys? Jay Martin here, investor and CEO of Cambridge House, and I'm joined once again by Jason Chen, the co-founder, president, and CEO of JustKitchen, an app-to-door dining experience for the on-demand generation. And Jason, I've had you on the show before, but thanks so much for coming back.
Yeah, my pleasure, Jay. Happy to be on.
Yeah, no, full disclosure, I'm a shareholder. You know, I invested in this company for a host of reasons that we'll get into today and that I've discussed on the show a couple times before with Jason. But for anyone who's not familiar, Jason, with the story and when I say app-to-door dining for the on-demand generation, can you provide some context? What is JustKitchen? What do you guys do?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's great. In a nutshell, to sort of summarize, what we do is we are a kitchen operator, a network of kitchen operators. We occupy the space for the hub and spokes model. So our hub is our central facility that does a lot of the sort of the preparation work. Up to 90% of the stuff is prepared almost to completion at the hub level. Then it's distributed to our spoke kitchens that are strategically located in various parts of cities and countries that have high demand for online delivery food. So these spokes are where the orders come in via our delivery service provider partners like Uber Eats or Foodpanda. We'll get the order, and the spoke kitchens would bring the meals back to delivery form, heat it back up, ready to eat, ready to serve within 5 minutes. And then once the order gets in, 5 minutes it's ready. Then the delivery service providers will pick up the meal, and usually we get it to the hands of our customers within 25 to 30 minutes. So that's our network infrastructure of the kitchens, and that's I guess that's an adequate way to describe it. And on the other end of it, so in the middle part, the delivery service part, we leave that alone. We don't touch any of that. On the other part, we provide content. We have a very robust portfolio of brands, 17 today of proprietary brands and 11 partnership brands that are with enterprises like anything from TGI Fridays to Paul Cafe to some of the local heroes that's been in Taiwan and Hong Kong for 50 years in legacy, 30, 40 chains, whereby they have no desire to expand beyond where they're already at. And through our network, we're able to reach more customers for them and give the people a chance to have the experience of eating at their restaurants, but ordering from home.
And that's, that brand scale. I love how you describe it as a content component. That's really, what's so compelling about this story to me is that, you described, you got the hub model with several spokes where, maybe 80% of the meals completed at the hub. The remaining is completed at a spoke in a strategic neighborhood with a high volume of order to home food orders placed, and you can operate many brands because they only exist digitally. And so, 17 brands could exist in one hub. And so me and my neighbor are ordering Mexican and Japanese. We don't know it's coming from the same place, but it's coming fast because it is, right? And these brands just exist digitally. Now, last for context, just your core markets, what are they?
Right now we operate in Taiwan and Hong Kong, but we're rapidly expanding into other regions in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, because you're heavily focused on just like the most population dense areas. That's where
that's right.
Makes sense.
Southeast Asia, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand. These are some of the highest growth for online food delivery. All three countries growing at 18, 15, and 12% CAGR, over the next 5 years. So very high growth, very dense populations. Manila, 20 plus million people. KL, it's easy to build that network effect when there's that population density, and to be able to serve that 20 million population within a city. It really makes logistics and the ability to get food from spoke to customer in a very effective and quick way. So these are the markets we're focusing in. Hong Kong, Taiwan, they share the very similar profiles.
Okay. And then, so we're talking about 17 brands plus 11 partnership brands, and the number of hubs and spokes currently in operation, Jason?
Currently, we have 17 spokes in Taiwan. We have number 18, 19, 20, and 21 coming online over the next 30 days. So we've got 4 kitchens under construction. So the team's busy. And recently, we've made 2 acquisitions of what we call mega spokes. So typically, our spokes are about 1,500 square feet, and they'll run anywhere between 7 to 9 brands out of each spoke.
Okay.
So we have 26 brands in all. So we strategically pick what is the most suitable for a geographic region. So every spoke will offer 7 to 9 brands, but they're not the same brands. Some demographics, require a certain type of catering and otherwise. So recently we've acquired 2 mega spokes. So these 2 spokes are around 5,000 square feet. They have subdivided kitchens within them. So one has 8 kitchens within, and the other has 6. So really, if you look at the kitchen count, we're really 21 plus 14.
Right.
And we're looking to rolling those 2 mega spokes out at the end of January as well. So by the end of January, we'll be at 35 spokes or 35 kitchens. That's it.
35 kitchens. Yeah. Within the 21 spokes plus the 2 mega spokes. And then each spoke able to distribute food on behalf of 7 to 9 brands. Are you able to give me some sort of estimate? Like how many meals are we serving out here on like a monthly basis? What's the metric that you might track in that regard?
We're on track to do 250 orders per day per spoke.
Per spoke.
Per spoke. Yeah. So you multiply that by 20, soon to be 35. So the number gets up there. My math is not great. So that's we're getting close to 10,000 meals a day.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to put that in front of my viewers. What attracted me to this was the momentum you guys have accomplished already. I just discovered you maybe less than a year ago, I feel like, right? And
it's been about a year. We did our first delivery March of 2020.
Okay. And yeah, just around 10,000 meals per day. So however, there's been tons of news, and in the last month, and just recently, actually, like a couple of days ago, you guys announced 6 pretty strategic hires, 3 strategic advisors, plus a CTO, plus a new head of supply chains. Obviously, like you're forecasting more scale coming. So talk to me about what's in the pipeline, Jason. Like what's firing you up right now? What should shareholders and prospective shareholders get excited about?
Yeah, we're very happy to have these key hires as we're growing so fast. we have sort of hit that stride where we're hiring to keep up, and we're hiring ahead. We're trying to hire for growth. So by bringing a new CTO on board to join forces with our former CTO, which is now in the role of a CIO position, because data, so we're getting to the point where we have to use a lot of data science. So that's more of a CIO's position. But
and is that because you want to know what brands to put in what neighborhood, or what's behind that?
Precisely. That's because of the amount of brands and the amount of locations we have. We're getting more and more data. So with the data that we're getting, we're able to do a three-sided comparison, which is our local knowledge, data that we're getting from external sources like delivery service providers and other sort of mobility type of data or government data, and then now we're able to compare that with our own internal data. So we do the three-sided comparison, and that really is what is forming our CIO's sort of business unit. It's business intelligence and data analytics. So we're getting better at analyzing on anything from geo scoring to pick where is the best location to make sure that we hit that 250 orders per day, if not more, and what they're requiring. Moreover, it's also about menu development and menu engineering. What is the financial construct of the menu that should be most suitable for that geography? It should be at a certain price point. It should be a certain day part. So we're really honing in on that. Whereas our new CTO is coming on and he's really developing out our platform, our JKOS, which is a content management platform. And really, this is a byproduct of something that we had to build in Taiwan because the services of a Hubster or an Olo type of integration system didn't exist here. So we built everything from scratch. And as a result, we have built a very robust tech stack that's allowed us to integrate everything from the POS system to the ERP to logistics partners and also even to delivery partners. So by having everything sort of channeled onto one platform that's content managing and that's also acquiring all this data, we're able to do an analysis of food safety levels, ordering lead times. That gets us into a much more environmental state. So we're not having food waste. We're able to order from local farmers, local providers a lot more, so we can get fresher food because we know that we're first in, first out. We have a good supply chain manager, so that we're getting better at ordering locally. So we're getting fresher food to the consumers. Right on. So it's a win-win. So our CTO hire, he's really focusing on building that out and getting that to be a point where we can take this tech stack of ordering and integration, because as we go abroad and go into a different geography, it may be a different POS system. It may be a different DSP provider. It may not be Uber Eats. It may be Grab in other regions. So with our platform, we have the ability to integrate with different providers of different services and really, really uplift what we've built here and plant it over a kitchen infrastructure, for instance, that we would build in the Philippines, for instance, and have that tech stack be replicatable. And so that's really a tool that's allowing us to scale as fast as we have. I think that's the main thing. And also in addition to it, we've built a whole training system on top of this platform. So everything from build charts to menus to training SOP, everything is digitalized and on video form. So as we open a new slope, the new trainee comes on, they would log in to our platform. They can see how certain items are made, what does it consist of, how is it plated. So it's really allowed us to scale at the pace that we have.
Yeah. Okay. Now, two directions I want to go next. I'm curious about your distribution partners. I think that's worth talking about because it's not what you handle, right? That's not in-house, right? Those are partnerships. Mm-hmm. And maybe let's start there. And then I'd love to get into how you're going to access the Philippines because that's a huge market. So let's start with delivery partners. Talk to me about how that's structured, Jason.
Our delivery partners are the likes of Uber Eats and Foodpanda. and going into Southeast Asia, Grab and Deliveroo. So we have, it's a very good relationship with them because they want some content, they want things to deliver. The longer they have availability of products delivered to consumers, the longer they can stay open. So the goal for them is always to stay as long as possible open and with offering as many products as possible. So by partnering with us, our 30 kitchens will represent 270 restaurants, because each restaurant, each kitchen has 7 to 9 brands. So if you take 9 and multiply it by 30, that's 270 restaurants that they're offering their subscribers on their platform. So for us, they're the ideal partner, and the fact that we can be everywhere in Taiwan and we can be in Hong Kong and we're going into the Philippines, as you spoke to earlier. These are the type of partners that they want. So in doing so, we're able to get preferred delivery rates. So in North America, typically they're at 33-35% of delivery. For us, we're significantly less in Taiwan. And as we go into other regions, because of the labor sort of construct, we're able to get even better rates in Southeast Asia. So that's really a big win for us.
Because Foodpanda, Uber Eats, they want to be as busy as possible, delivering nonstop, and you provide a more consistent product and more products that their customers can choose from when they log on to the Uber Eats app. There's never a shortage of restaurants as long as you're online, because like you said, there's 270 that they can be facilitating. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, yeah. And to take that comparison to a brick and mortar restaurant that may be on their platform.
Sure.
Typically they're open till 10 p.m., if not 11 p.m. After that, they're closed. So we're able to extend as we're getting more and more larger in infrastructure. We're able to extend our hours. We're able to cater to certain trade zones that may require a breakfast, sort of time slot between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., where some other restaurants may not be open. So we're available at that time. We're catering to certain trade zones that may have a demand late at night. So we're opening those spokes to cater to that. So we're kind of meeting the demand as consumers are needing it, and we're also giving the supply to the DSP, the delivery service partners, as they're fulfilling that need. So it's kind of a 3-way sort of winner situation.
Yeah, because there's no foot traffic at your hubs or spokes. You're not restricted to social hours. Whenever someone wants to eat at home, that's a consumer for you. Because you're a tech business, not just a restaurant, you're able to drive those operating hours based off of the data you're receiving from your orders, right? And so you can adjust accordingly. Various neighborhoods, you could have the same brand having completely different hours in different neighborhoods because of the demographic that lives in those neighborhoods, correct?
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Okay. Fascinating. I love it. I want to talk about your joint venture with TDG Ventures and the significance of this.
Right. So the Philippines market is something that we've been studying and eyeing for a long time, and it's one of the biggest and fastest growing markets for online food delivery. It's growing at a high teens % year over year, as the middle class and the disposable income is increasing in a city of 20 plus million like Manila. It's a very attractive market. And it's not just us that's looking at going there. All the delivery service providers are doubling down into the Philippines. So we saw that as a huge opportunity last year. So we forged a JV partnership with a company called Transnational Diversified Group, or short for TDG. So they're our JV partner. We're 51-49 in partnership. They're a large conglomerate that has a huge presence in the Philippines. They have about 40 different companies under their group of companies. But what's the most attractive to us about partnering with them is their ability to get us into the market, gain us local access to knowledge and also to real estate. In addition, they have a long history in operating in the F&B sector. So they operated a major international pizza chain for many years. So they understand the business and they understand delivery because they're also partners with a very large Korean logistics company in Manila, CJ Logistics. It's the largest in Korea. So they actually, in fact, do last mile delivery. So they have a lot of that delivery data that we're after. And then lastly, they have a large culinary training presence. They train a lot of the food and beverage personnel for major cruise lines around the world. So they have that training facility that can give us a pipeline of human capital that we need as we expand. And as we've experienced in Taiwan, we're expanding in a period over a year. We're going from one kitchen to now 30, 35, and going from a team of 20 to a team of 400. There's a lot of need for labor. And as we all know, it's not easy to get good labor or just labor in general. I mean, there's a labor shortage around the world. So having this partnership with TDG really helps us to have that pipeline of relevant labor to help us get into the market and grow very quickly. So for all those reasons, I mean, we're delighted to have them as a partner.
Yeah, the human capital pipeline makes all the sense in the world, especially right now. I mean, everyone's feeling that pinch, right?
Yes.
There's this mass exodus of labor leaving the market, and everybody. Yeah. So, get conceptual with me for a minute if you want to. So, what does Manilla do to the business? I mean, right now, we're delivering 250 meals per spoke at 35 spokes. Right now, just shy of 10,000 meals per day is what that means. Manila being a city of 20 million people. First of all, that terrifies me. I live in a town of 20,000 people, and I love it. But so talk to me about what the implications on the business could be. If we successfully take on Manila, like what's the upside here?
Yeah. So taking what we've learned and what we've built in Taiwan, we're 35. We think 45 is the magic number here for Taiwan to be fully built out.
Got it.
So take that, and that's the country. That's the island in its entirety. Manila is one metro Manila, same population. So we see there's no reason why we would not be at 45, 60, or even 70 kitchens in the entirety of the Philippines. So I think we can easily be at close to double kitchen count in the Philippines. And even though the average basket size is a little bit lower in the Philippines, at the same time, we're experiencing lower cost in labor. We're experiencing lower cost in delivery commissions.
Okay.
So the economics ends up being very good there. And if you take that all into consideration, we're actually in a better economic environment for food delivery in the Philippines. And the volume is going to roughly to be about the same, 250 a day. But multiply that to sort of double the amount of kitchens is what we see in the Philippines. So we see that as extremely positive for us, and it's still early in the going. We're lucky that we made our entryway into Taiwan at a very critical and very opportune time. So now we're the leader in Taiwan. Going to the Philippines, there's not one consolidated large player there yet in terms of what we do, both building the kitchen infrastructure side as well as offering the content side on the food on the food brands. So we feel that with this partnership, we want to be at 10 kitchens in 2022 in the Philippines. And then after there, it can grow faster. So we also want to be the dominant player in the Philippines. And we see that happening over the next 12 months.
This might be a silly question. The first 10, the hardest, like the first few are the hardest. Once you get the program rolling, I guess, the formula rolled out in the city, then scaling that, the hard work's done. Is that a correct assumption, Jason?
Absolutely. The first, I would say the first 5 is the hardest because
The first 5,
it's about getting, in the Philippines, we're building right now. We're in construction or under construction for an 18,000 square foot facility. That's our hub kitchen, and 2 other spoke kitchens that are being built. So in the beginning, we have to source for new equipment vendor suppliers. We have to source for new food suppliers. So a lot of that preparatory work, and also licensing and permitting, getting that out of the way, it's going to take us about 4 months. So our hub and our 2 spokes will be up and running April 2022. Mm-hmm. But once that is up and running, once we get the contractors on board that are aligned and in sync with what we're doing, it just cookie cuts itself. And as we've done in Taiwan, we expect the same experience in the Philippines.
Right. Do you think is this model? And, not asking you if JustKitchen is, although as a shareholder, I sure hope so. But, is this model the future of the biggest restaurant chain in the world? You just I wonder about the scale, about the scalability, about the cost, about the convenience, and just the digitization of the sector. And finally, tech has eaten will eventually eat every sector that matters. Right. And, I've been a massive benefactor of this and all sorts of media consumption in my life. And you're eating the restaurant industry with the tech stack. And, is this the future of the biggest restaurant chains in the world, do you think?
I think certainly with what we're doing, it's unique. I think we're lucky and fortunate to be in the first mover position in Asia, Southeast Asia and Central Asia. And I think it's in its infancy. I mean, there's still a huge amount of runway in terms of demand and in terms of what we're building and where I think this business can lead to.
Right.
Is it the future? I don't think it's a winner take all situation. I think there are a lot of different virtual kitchen operators, cloud kitchen operators, virtual brand operators that are taking on different ways of tackling the food delivery business. What is the right formula? I think we have what's unique to us is that we're not the full stack as I mentioned earlier. We're not occupying the delivery side of the business.
Yeah.
But we're pretty close. We're building the infrastructure as well as offering the content side of it. And I think with your last interview with Kai, he made a great analogy to sort of internet e-commerce 1.0 to what we're doing today. We're building the infrastructure as the internet did, back in the 90s. And then we're building the content as what Amazon has morphed into AWS. We're kind of doing the same thing virtually with the food side of it. Yeah. So I think in building this ecosystem and building this platform of brands that we're developing ourselves and putting on our platform, as well as our partnership brands, we can easily go from, we have 27 today. We're onboarding 3 more brands from Japan, 3 more brands from the US, larger enterprise brands over the next 45 days that are recognizable. So as more and more of these brands get onboarded, I see us having a portfolio that is approaching 50. No reason why it's not going to get to 100. At that point in time, does that become the largest sort of platform of restaurants in the world? We're getting close. Certainly offering the diversity of different cuisines for different demand gaps. So yeah, no, I think I see huge amount of potential into what we're doing, and I certainly see us focusing on Southeast Asia right now because the market is there, the demand is there, and the growth is there, and it's close to us, and we have good access to it with good people to build. So yeah, no, I mean, I do see us reaching that point of being everywhere in Asia and having a presence in all those territories.
Yeah. Okay. Now, and then for these US brands that are signing up as partners, so I'm making the assumption it's because they want access to the South Asian market, right? And through you is by far the lowest risk, the most cost-effective way to get their brand into the most densely populated neighborhoods in the world, right? Is via your platform, correct?
Yeah, and I think you can look at it from two different angles, and both angles really makes a lot of sense to them. The larger QSRs or the larger enterprise brands, they usually typically they're the franchisor, and they usually have a franchisee in the territory, and they have a development agreement over a span of typically 10 years to build X amount of restaurants. And as competition grows, some of these franchisees may not be able to fulfill that number of committed restaurants. So what the franchisors are doing now is they're saying, well, if the saturation point in Taiwan, for instance, for their particular brand, they were hoping for 100, but they got to 60 and they're stalled. So what should they do? Do they just stop growing, or do they want to recoup or get access to some incremental revenue by partnering with a ghost kitchen and allowing the ghost kitchens to operate and and maybe fulfill that gap of the last 40 and still get to 100? So I think that's where a lot of the international QSRs are breaking out their franchising model. They're keeping with their brick and mortar traditional franchising model. At the same time, they're going into the ghost kitchen licensing model. So that's one way. It's to build upon their existing presence in a geography. And the other way is by way of virtual branding. They have never entered the market. They can come in here through our network and not have to spend the CapEx and really test out the market. Just test their product in the market to see if there's a fit for it. Yeah. And if there's a fit, then they may choose to come in and build brick and mortars. So the two can coexist, and it doesn't conflict. So these are really attractive points to the international enterprises, and I think that's where everyone's sort of headed at. Guys like TGI Fridays, guys like Chili's have been extremely successful with their wing brand. Guys like Burger King, Wendy's, they're all experimenting with this format everywhere, and there's going to be just more and more of these brands jumping in, I think.
Now, could you see it ever making sense for you? Because, where you're located makes all the sense in the world. Go to where the populations are dense because you want the order volumes to be high. You're looking at Manila, even cheaper labor costs and delivery costs, but the volume will be consistent. So it's a great location for you. Does this model make sense? Because I think in the past we've talked about maybe coming to the US, right? Does it make sense to go to less densely populated within reason? But, what are your thoughts on geographies that aren't as densely populated? Does the model make sense? Is it attractive? Is it in the periphery in the plans, or what do you think?
Well, I think the U.S. obviously is actually it's a very big market. Canada, there's a big market for this. In Europe, there's a big market. For us, do we want to be there? Do we foresee ourselves playing in those geographies? I think eventually. But right now, it's really a case of allocating our resources. We're growing at the pace we're growing, and we're looking at, we've got Philippines as a JV that we're developing today. We've got Singapore, we've got Manila in planning phases of going into. I mean, these are large undertakings that's going to take us months to get, 70 kitchens into the Philippines, 70 kitchens into Manila, build up the rest of Taiwan, getting another 10 kitchens into Hong Kong. So really, it's just where we devote our attention. So one initiative that we're working on in North America is what we spoke about, this virtual branding platform that we've built. So we've got 27 brands, soon to be 36. A lot of and we're very rich in Asian content, Asian cuisine, Chinese food. Japanese food, other types. We'll be onboarding some brands from the Philippines. So what we see us as an entry gateway into North America is by taking these brands, and we have all the SOP, we have all the training on digital, on cloud, we have all the videos. So we really see partnering with a virtual brand company in North America, and then offering them access to our brands that provide authenticity to Asian cuisine, and let them offer it to their ghost kitchen network in North America. This is a way for us to really kind of flipping the model around, us licensing our brands over there and see what is working. And when we see something really taking off, then maybe at that point in time, we come in and we start building our own kitchens. So I see it as a sort of two-step entry to North America. And it's of course. It's really treading in carefully and using our resources carefully. And that's kind of the strategy we see going abroad into North America.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. That approach is completely on brand with what you guys do. So that makes all the sense in the world. All right. Look, Jason, great to have you back on the show. Thanks so much for catching me up. And obviously I'm super passionate about what you guys are doing. And I think it's just such a great opportunity to invest in like the next generation of restaurateurs. And thanks for explaining why. The ticker is, yeah, no, my pleasure. Anytime, honestly. And the ticker is JK, easy to remember. JustKitchen on the Toronto Venture Exchange. And once again, I appreciate your time. It's a crazy time difference. 9 a.m. where you are, it's close to 6, 7 p.m. where I'm at. But honestly, a pleasure, man. I love chatting with you. So thanks again. Okay, guys, 3 last things. First, if you enjoy my interviews and would like a bit more, you can subscribe to my Friday newsletter. It's free, and the comment to subscribe is right beneath this video in that pinned comment. In this newsletter, I share my key lessons learned, takeaways, and any actions that I might be taking in the market as a consequence of what I've learned on the show. Second, when I started a YouTube channel, I never anticipated generating any advertising revenue. But coincidentally, I do now, which is awesome. And so what I've decided to do is donate this to an organization that is very close to my heart called Zero Ceiling. Their mission is to end youth homelessness. The way they do this is by providing young people experiencing homelessness with supportive housing, employment, professional support, life skills, and outdoor adventure. Because often young people in urban centers with no resources will never get the opportunity to experience wild places, nature that can be so transformational, and absolutely was for me. Third, if you prefer to listen to my content, you can now find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for The J Martin Show.